Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing part 4 of my writing series, and today's topic of conversation is types of books. So, if that is something that interests you or you need help figuring out what type of book you want to write, stick around and we'll talk about a few different kinds. Otherwise, check out the links in the description for part 1 through 3 of my writing series and a couple other videos that I'm going to link down there. Or go ahead and go check out my Instagram, follow me there, just to see little snippets of what I do here. So, without further ado, let's talk about writing. So the first type of book that we are going to talk about is probably one of the most common, just generic types of books. That would be a fiction book. So this could be a novel, a short story, a children's book, but a fiction book is something that is entirely made up, something that is not about a real, it can be about real events, but twisted to whatever fantasy or whatever story you're writing. So it doesn't have to be about real people, it doesn't have to be about a real place, it doesn't have to be about real anything. Fiction books give you definitely the most creative leeway and allow you to do whatever you really want with the book. So type 1 is a fiction book. Some examples of fiction novels would be, or just fiction works, would be things like Harry Potter or 50 Shades of Grey, that kind of thing. Something that's just made up, odd story. So the second type of book you could write would be a book of poems. Some examples of this would be like Edgar Allan Poe or Ellen Hopkins writes books where everything is just very much in a poem form. So if you're huge at writing poems but not so much as long stories, then you can still write a book. You can make a book of poems. Just get 20, 30, 50 together, 100. Just put them all into one book. Then you still get to use your creative outlet, get to write a book. So book type number 3 is going to be biographies or autobiographies. So this would be like memoirs or stories of your life or somebody else's life, recounting real life events, that kind of thing. So if you're a huge history buff and you want to write about the Civil War, you could find somebody's biography to write for the Civil War. Or if the person you know the most about or the subject you know the most about is yourself, then just start writing your own story. Just write about the things you did as a child. Write about a memory you have, an event you lived through. Just the big key here is to write. And that's the hardest part of writing a book, is just writing the book. So far, we've talked about fiction books, poem books, and biographies or autobiographies. So the next type of book we are going to talk about is going to be self-help or how-to books. This would be, if you are really good at sewing, write a sewing book. If you're really good at hiking, write an outdoor survival book. If you just know a lot about taking care of yourself, write a book on nutrition. This is where you can help other people or put a book out that teaches somebody something about whatever, about themselves. These can even include like journaling books with, a prompt at the top of each page. But the fourth type of book here is just a how-to self-help book. The biggest example of a how-to book that most people have seen is a cookbook. Simple enough. You can just put together a bunch of recipes that you know or that are secret to your family and put it out in a book. The last type of book I'm going to talk about today is a short story book. So this is where you can then just write a bunch of smaller stories. So instead of writing like a fiction novel and going for 300 pages about one story and working through one person's life or working through an adventure that these people had together, you can write multiple and do 5 or 6 different short stories, and just write one about a turtle, write one about the sun, and write a third story about a dog on a beach, and boom, each story can be completely different, but each one just keep it short and sweet, to the point, and then you can put them all together into one book. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you will be around for the next video that I put out on my writing stuff. But today we talked about different types of books. If you are unsure what type of book you wanted to write, I hope I gave you a few ideas and kind of gave you a little bit of direction. But I will see you all in the next video.